Then I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you one that epitomizes capitalism. That's actually it. And you don't have to know FTA or WTO to understand this. You looked at it, you had a chance to talk about it, so.
Free trade at laws, free trade at laws, I got on my video, free trade at laws. They have control over work. It's kind of racist.
Yeah.
Why they just close the door?
Just analyze from what you have, Sylvia. It's okay.
It shows cheap labor.
So in a complete sentence, so you know, my partner and I felt that what is it? But it's something to this effect, or in a complete sentence that you can do.
Well, me and my partner discussed that it just shows cheap labor because
Who did choose this cartoon to epitomize capitalism? None of you. So you all looked at the cartoon. Who can help out Sylvia with some analysis? Thank you. Go for it.
her partner. I think it does show the less work. Like he can make them work more for less money, so he makes more profit with, like, I'm just guessing that's a Chinese man, and it says slave wages and no work rights, so he can work them day and night and give them, like you said in the past, $2 a day, even though he's been working 24 hours. There's your $2. You've been working all day, but that's all you get because I need to make my profit, kind of thing.
And then the other person?
He's, I don't know what nationality he may be, but it says massive layoffs because there's less need for more workers since they're giving them to people in Asia. There's less need for workers out here in the U.S. So they lay people off so that way he makes even more money because he doesn't have to pay the U.S. workers with their work rights, whereas they can only work 40-hour days, and then whatever's over that is overtime. You have to pay the double or triple, whatever their natural pay is.
Okay. And when we look at corporate America could be any job. Could be the Gap, the Banana Republic, McDonald's. You choose. It's some corporation. Nobody tells you you must work for this corporation. You're gonna go and find a job wherever you like. And if you don't like, don't work. Don't work if you don't want to. But this person does have clothes on his back, probably has a decent middle class because of the working for this corporation. These corporate people, the people that are taking the risk, they are going to get fat. They are going to have all this money. And for this guy in China, don't feel so bad for him. Maybe he was eating rice once every 2 days. Maybe now, thanks to this job, it's going to be 1 in 2 days. Or I'm sorry, eating rice twice a day. He still has a little bit of clothes, but he's not dead. And capitalism has brought a lot of things to some of these countries. So sometimes cartoonists are going to exaggerate a point. And I'm not saying this is an exaggerated point, because I've been to China and it was that bad. I was at a construction site, and they have walls, so you don't see what's going on behind. But they had people, like, you know, the jackhammer people, they were wearing like chanclas. Will you see that in this country? Or they had old ladies and women collecting things inside this big construction site. You never see it in this country. So people have to do what they have to do to survive. But at least they're given the opportunity to get to those places. And when we do globalization in Unit 5, we're going to come back to this cartoon. Well, you will know every aspect of it. So right now is not the right time for me to go through all of them. So I'm going to do one more. Giselle, which one did you guys choose for the one that epitomizes capitalism?
We chose this one.
Oh, so give us your insight. I asked you guys before I spoke.
I guess that analyzing the cartoon we chose, the adjective of greed, because the company isn't being fair to the workers.
So we gotta milk it on the reason. But since I already gave a whole bunch, I won't go much into it. Who has a different cartoon that we haven't discussed that epitomizes capitalism? You just don't want to speak. Diana, you don't have one?
We chose number 2.
Can I pass it? No,
It was the one with the fish, I think.
Oh, that's right, the fish.
So just number 2, because even though it's like a simple big fish, small fish, it's just like if you're stronger, bigger, have more money, you'll overpower the smaller companies. So it doesn't matter if they're weak because all you want to do is beat them and get as much money as you possibly can. It's not like having like physically strong, but mentally strong where you could exploit others to better yourself.
Very well said. Thank you. So now we'll go to number 3. With some that maybe challenge you or make you really didn't quite understand. Richard, what was one that you didn't quite understand?
Well, we only saw like 3 or 4. I didn't really understand the Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay.
I didn't really
Oh,
understand.
it was Facebook.
All right. For this
It
one,
was in color, maybe. Oh, yeah.
this is you.
It was in color.
Any one of you can be Mark Zuckerberg. The kid was in college, 18, 19 years old. He has this idea, right? He has this idea that he wants to connect people. He doesn't know how. And I'm not sure if you watched the movie, but of course the movie's now going to be like the real story. He was never interviewed for that movie, but there is a lot of information there that's probably true because of all the people that were interviewed. But if you have that next idea, that next innovation, you can, through your own ambition, maybe is ambition up here? Through your own ambition, you can go ahead and acquire as much money as you can. He's a dork. He's your typical Harvard college kid, whether it's Yale or Columbia or Stanford, right? Typical kid. But if you have that idea, you're gonna hit the jackpot. Whatever that idea is. Think about Twitter. In essence, what is Twitter? You guys are Twitter people, so you tell me, what is Twitter?
I don't know.
Yeah, but what is it? But I know what it is, but essentially, what is it?
A social
Yes,
network.
yes, but what is it?
An idea.
It's 140 characters. So now that you know it's 140 characters, what is it?
It's
It's a text.
Yes, but what kind of text is it?
unnecessary.
It's a shout. It's like saying, "Come to dinner." It's a shout. It is not an email. An email is, "Come to my house for dinner. We're gonna have pasta and roast beef, and then we're gonna have." Blah, blah. You don't want to hear that. Come to my house for dinner. That's what Twitter is. And some genius had that idea, is making billions on it. So what is your idea? You don't have to be 21 to be rich, or 19. He's very young. When Facebook went public last year, he made $10 billion in one day. 10 billion, billion. Will you be that person? Do you have it in you? All right. So if you have an idea, how are you going to cultivate it? And this is why this cartoon is so powerful, because any of you, depending on your ambition, you're going to be able to acquire. Nobody can make the determination except for you. So we'll do one more and then we'll move on. How about, who hasn't spoken? Marina, give us one that you didn't understand.
Number 8.
Describe it so I can find it.
It's the one with the middle class on like a cliff. I don't know if it's a cliff. Oh yeah. I didn't understand that one.
Okay. So this
there we go.
is going to go part of my
You're
lecture.
smart.
So, but it's a good time for me to segue into it. I'm going to go ahead and after this I'm going to give you a little lecture. But this is you in the middle class. The middle class is crumbling. So even though you think you're in the middle class, you have no idea how fragile your position in society is. If your parents didn't get paid for 2 months straight, you and I, because I know that I won't be able to hang. we will be fighting for some little corner underneath a bridge somewhere. You would be impoverished. The middle class is dying. And the reason it's falling apart, the cartoon is giving us 4 reasons. Reason number 1, automation. Automation means that there are now robots. There are computers that are doing work that people used to do once upon a time. Before, you can be a high school dropout, work in some factory, making refrigerators or whatever, and make a lot of money. Here in Salinas, we had Firestone, we had Smuckers, we had Peter Paul. What's that?
Smurf and Stone. Sorry.
What is that one?
Smurf and Stone is the people that make the cardboard boxes for the strawberries.
Oh, isn't that what Weyerhaeuser does?
No, they do it at Rock 10 now.
Oh, I thought
It
it
was
was
Smurf and
Weyerhaeuser.
Stone, but now it's Rock 10.
I thought it was Weyerhaeuser for some reason. So we have but now a lot of those things are made by machines. So they're made by machines. So people are losing those jobs. Number 2, manufacturing. We used to be an economy where we would get things done. Now we're a service economy. What I do is I provide you a service. And most of you guys are going to provide a service because there's very little for us to do. Think about for anything that you have on. What is it that you have on or do you have that was made in this country? Exactly my point. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Everything is made abroad. And then we have outsourcing. There are jobs that are going to be done in other countries that are easier to make because of labor costs. If you are a mechanic, if you are an electrician, a plumber, somebody that cuts hair, you're never going to go broke. You're always going to have money because people need those jobs. But if you have a job that entails being built in a factory or something that you do inputting on the computer, you're going to lose your job. Have you ever called those call centers? You're speaking to somebody in China or somebody, not China, India or the Philippines. They have those jobs. A lot of those jobs are outsourced. And the wages. And if you remember that lesson when I was giving you how much money from minimum wage from when I was in high school to now, there's only been about a $5 something raise in 20-something years. That's what you're looking for. So for those of you that hate school, you need to figure this out. If you want to be a part of the middle class and you don't have any of these supports, you're not going to be middle class. But ladies, you're lucky. You can always marry some rich dude. Guys, save up that lucky dollar in your wallet and go buy a lottery ticket and maybe that'll be your golden ride. But the reality is, this is all of us. I'm hoping to pay off my house soon before the economy collapses because at least I want to be set. And then maybe buy one of those big machine guns and put it on top of my house so people can beat up my hill. They're trying to take mine. I'm gonna be ready for them. Armageddon maybe nearby. I don't know. So why don't you guys go back to your seats so we can go ahead and I can give you a little lecture.